Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be answering questions from Facebook members. I'm not going to give any names for obvious reasons, but I asked these people to ask me questions. I thought it'd be a good idea for the video, so here goes. Here's the first question. All Aspies vary in symptoms, etc. What are your person-specific symptoms? This is an easy question to answer because out of all the symptoms I have, the one that really stands out is my social issues. One example would be when I'm talking to somebody, I tend to interrupt them or overtalk them or change the subjects all the time, which is something I do a lot. Also, as far as I can remember, I've always had trouble making friends and keeping friends. For the last few years now, I've been a complete loner. The only friend I really have is my partner. When it comes to being in a group, I really struggle. I'm better in a one-to-one situation. Other symptoms I have is anxiety, which I get from time to time, which can affect my life in all sorts of ways. Like, for example, when I'm driving, it will make me more nervous and jumpy when I'm driving, or affect my sleep. It'll either stop me from going to sleep or I'll start having nightmares or something. And my anxiety will affect my speech as well. It will make me sound as if I've got a speech impairment because I start to stutter, get sort of like stuck on my words, they won't come out of my mouth, and I struggle with pronouncing words as well because of the anxiety. Another one of my symptoms is stimming. The ones I'm doing at the moment, I like the tips of my fingers. I like to press them down on hard surfaces. This is the only way I can show you. Just say that's like a table. I sort of do that, and I do it on the furniture as well. As I noticed I was doing it when I was sitting on my mother's couch the other day. I was pressing my fingers on her couch. And when I'm sitting at my desk and I haven't got any shoes on, I will bang the tips of my toes on the bar at the bottom of the table there. I also shake the watch on my wrist on my left, which is on my left hand when I'm walking around. So, you know, I'm like that all the time. Okay, I won't say any more on this subject now because I don't want this video to end up being too long. So I'm going to go on to the next question. Okay, here's the second question, and it's, do you have an object or subject fixation? If so, how do you interact with the object or subject? I do have fixations on subjects. My main one would be technology, mostly centered around computers, and to, like, say my partner or members of my family, I will just talk and talk about them, and they haven't got a clue what I'm talking about because they don't know as much about the subject as I do. And then it's just like a vicious circle because I can't read them and I can't tell that they're not interested, so I'll just keep talking about that subject anyway. Another fixation I have on a subject is a political issue to do with civil rights and prejudice. I won't go into detail of what that is specifically, but I think that all relates to my obsession with computers and technology, so I think it's just really bouncing off that because of my obsession with technology. You could say that I get fixated on objects as well. I think it's because I spend a lot of time on my computer and I will find myself grabbing objects off my desk and I will play with them for hours in my hands. For the last few weeks I keep playing with this Tipp-Ex, for instance. I keep unscrewing the top in between my thumbs like that and then tighten it back up and then loosen it back up and that just entertains me. Okay, moving on to question 3. And question 3 is, what's the best thing about having Asperger's? I think the best part of having Asperger's is the intelligence side of it, and with me it's all to do with technology, especially computers. People say to me that I'm really good with them when it comes to building them and fixing them and using them. I don't know if I completely agree. I don't know whether that's a confidence thing or what. Or it could be because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and you know, I've got to realise that I'm only human, and even like computer technicians, you know, they don't always get everything right, so I must try and keep that in mind, but I bet I won't. I do have 2 diplomas in computer repairs, and I do aim to do the CompTIA A+, which would give me that computer technician status, and I think I will fly through that because I've looked up what you have to learn and there's nothing I don't already know. Okay, moving on to question 4, which is, how does having Asperger's affect your personal relationship with your partner? Having Asperger's affects my relationship in a number of different ways. I think the biggest issue would be my lack of communication in a relationship. If something is bothering me or if I'm having like a shutdown, I won't communicate with my partner at all. My partner has to make me communicate. They won't stop until I start telling them what's on my mind, and then sometimes that can be a vicious circle because it comes out all wrong and they get offended by what I say. Another issue I have is I find it very difficult to express empathy, and when my partner is upset, I just don't know what to do at all. It's like I'm blind to it, and it's exactly the same if I've upset them in a way that makes them angry. I just don't understand why they're angry. On the plus side, I do nice things for my partner, but in practical ways, like I will fix things for them, or if they've had a hard day at work, I will rub their shoulders, you know, little things like that. It's just, I find it very difficult with the communication part of the relationship and expressing myself. Okay, moving on to the last question. This person actually asked me 3 questions, so I'm just going to pick one of them for now and I'll keep the rest for another video, and I'll probably name it like questions and answers part 2. Okay, this is the question I'm going to pick, and it's, how would you describe Asperger's to someone who's never heard of it before? Well, first off, I tell them it's like a mild form of autism. I know some of you have an opinion that it is mild autism, and some of you think it should be separate from the autism spectrum. To be honest, I'm on the fence. I don't know whether there should be a separate disorder or on the autism spectrum. I'm sort of like in the middle. I can't really decide on that, so I'm not going to go into that. That's like something completely different. But I tell people it's on the autism spectrum and it's like mild autism, because more people have heard of autism than they have heard of Asperger's. So, and I sort of keep it short and simple. I don't like go on and on about it for ages. I'll try and keep it, within 5 minutes when I talk about it. And I sort of take baby steps. If I see that person again, I'll say a little bit more about it. If I tell somebody that I know quite well, like a member of my family, that I have Asperger's syndrome, I will always bring up that people with Asperger's have social issues, and because that person knows me well, they know that I struggle with social issues, so that sort of gets them thinking then, and they kind of understand. I haven't told a stranger that I have Asperger's and explained it to them yet, because it's August now and I was only diagnosed in November last year of 2011, so I haven't had that opportunity. So I really don't know how I would tell them, to be honest. So I guess I better start thinking about that, just in case that situation ever comes up. Okay, that's all for now. I might make another video in time, and it will be called Questions and Answers Part 2. So keep an eye out for that. It will be put as a response to this video, so it'll be linked to this video. I can't really say when that will be, because as a single parent, you can imagine it's difficult to get peace and quiet to make a video without a lot of noise not being in the background. But I'd like to take this time to thank all the people that asked the questions, because they helped me make this video, and thanks for watching. See you all again soon.